Hello everyone and welcome to Supe's On. This is where you get the latest news from around the Springford Area School District. I'm Steve Bonnets. We have the new band director, Seth Jones, joining us in our next segment, talking about the success of the band program. Springford is rolling out a new sponsorship program, so we'll talk about that. But first, we do have a special guest with us to talk about homecoming. Joining me, as always, Dr. David Gooden, Superintendent of Schools. Welcome.
How you doing, Steve?
And Junior Paul Johnson. Welcome to Supe's On.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Is this your first time on TV?
I've been in the side on maybe a newspaper or something, or filming for something, but I'm always in the background, so.
Oh, but now you're right out front.
Yeah, you're right up front.
That's right, yes.
Dr. Gooden, we have a busy show today.
We do.
A lot of guests today. Yep. Homecoming, let's talk about that. It's come, it's gone. What a successful week that was.
Yeah, it was a great week. Spirit Week here at Springford is an exciting time. You come through the hallways and the kids are all participating. I bet we're close to 100% participation that week.
And I tell you what, one of the favorite times for me that week is when they decorate the halls. Yeah. And you can see the juniors, the sophomores, the seniors kind of like just decorate. I mean, did you walk through the school and see the hallways?
I did.
And what a great time.
Yeah.
And then the football team winning. Right. And they keep on winning.
Yeah,
so that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So, Paul, we have you on to talk about your costume. Talk about the day that you dressed up. Before we get into your costume, what day did you dress up?
I dressed up on Superhero Rockstar Celebrity Day, and so my choice was the classic superhero of Bumblebee from the Transformers movie.
Now, I do have to say that was my son's favorite character. I mean, I love Transformers. I mean, I absolutely love it. And we actually saw a Bumblebee-type car at a car dealership. We got out, we went in there, we got pictures in the car with my son. I mean, we absolutely loved it. What kind of drew you to Bumblebee?
I think it was because when I first came up with the idea from videos I'd seen on YouTube, I tried looking up directions online somewhere from people to get a basis to where I wanted to begin at. And I found this one video of Bumblebee, and so that was my best guideline to base my costume off of.
How difficult was it, and as you can see on TV here, how did you really put everything together? Was it difficult?
Yeah, it was pretty time consuming. I spent most of my nights skipping off on my homework and having my mom measure me as I lie on the ground so I can cut out the cardboard. So
your mom played a key part too, is with this.
She did. She helped me paint the final yellow coat on it, and she was my support and my measurer.
Well, and I have to say, Dr. Gooden, I'm not sure what your feeling is, but probably the best costume I have ever seen.
Absolutely. It's about the coolest I'd ever seen.
and you could tell that a lot of time went into that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, putting everything, and when you you get out of this and everything just goes away, and then when you're getting back into this, everything fits perfectly. Did you have any trouble getting it to fit perfectly?
The worst part was probably the windshield on it, because the bottom's curved but the top's flat. So that was the worst because there's a bunch of little pieces duct taped and glued together. So.
Now, how many cardboard boxes did you go through?
I took a bunch of refrigerator boxes that I got from Saratoga Appliance Company, and so I probably used about 3 of those. So.
Wow. So now, now all week is a fun week for you. What is that your favorite day, or what is your favorite day?
My favorite day is probably the pep rally, with all the excitement that goes on during that.
Okay. All right. And what about the consensus of the student body? I mean, you can see Dr. Gooden said close to 100% participation. Right. As a junior, now granted, you lost again. It's seniors won. I'm sorry, but you did lose.
It's all right.
But maybe next year you'll win.
I heard they rule the house.
The juniors?
Yeah. No, it's seniors.
Seniors. It seems like every year they rule the house.
Yeah, you think.
It's funny how that works out.
You know what? Participation was good, but seniors always come out on top.
That's right.
But what about everybody else, talking about, homecoming week, leading up to it? What do people really talk about?
Oh, it's funny because you talk to anybody in the 2 or 3 weeks leading up to it, and they're like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this. And so it's funny to hear the excitement and what they're planning. And a couple of my friends and I were already talking at lunch, like, oh, next year we're going to do this, and we're going to win that category. So it's really funny.
Did you tell anybody your costume, Bumblebee?
I told a couple people before I actually embarked on it, about a week before the day we were going to do it. I told a couple people, I was like, I'm thinking of doing it, but I'm not really sure. And so to me, that was kind of my way of okay, I'm kind of forcing myself to do this if I'm going to tell people. So.
But if I'm hearing it, I'm not sure. If I'm hearing you're doing Bumblebee, I'm not picturing that costume. I'm really not. I'm not picturing that you're going to walk around putting everything together like you did. I mean, that was just outstanding.
Thank you.
You're a junior. What are your plans after high school?
After high school, I'm planning to attend the Naval Academy and then go on to become a Navy SEAL.
That is outstanding. I mean, that truly is, number one, a very mature decision, because being a Navy SEAL is not a tough thing to do. I mean, it's very rigorous. Did you talk to anybody about it, or is it catch your attention? How did you want to become a Navy SEAL?
I think it's based on videos I've seen in the past. The one movie that really inspired me was the movie called The Pacifier with Vin Diesel. And that movie, some people are familiar with it, but that really inspired me to do it. And then my cousin, who is now a sophomore in college, he was going to do the same thing. And unfortunately, some things went wrong, and he ended up not getting in. But he's also a huge inspiration to me, because his level of motivation is at such a high level. And so I think that's what finally pushed me over the edge to want to do this.
And what are you doing now? I mean, granted, you have your whole senior year, okay, and then you're planning on going into Naval Academy. What are you doing now getting ready for that?
Right now, it's all about academics and physical fitness. So right now, I got to make sure that I maintain my GPA, try and get my class rank up. But I also have to make sure that I'm increasing my level of physical fitness so that I can be able to enter at a level in which I can physically maintain myself and be able to balance both academics and the physical aspect of it.
And your parents, what do they say about this?
I was a little nervous telling them, I wasn't sure how they were going to react, but my dad was an Air Force ROTC, and so both him and my mom had no problem with it, and they're both fully supporting me on it.
I'm
Excellent.
sure they're proud.
What are your thoughts knowing that a student from Springford, I mean, Navy SEAL is not something that majority of the people go into?
Well, I've always said that military service is going to teach you some things that you're not otherwise going to learn about, self-discipline and honor. They're just characteristics you're going to learn through military service that you're just not going to pick up anywhere else. And I've always told, and I told you I had 2 boys that are in the military, and in a way it's going to make you a man like nothing else will. So. I mean, I'm very proud to have students going into the military.
I think that's outstanding. It takes a lot to be a junior to decide that, not a senior and not 3 years out of high school. You're making that decision now, which I think is outstanding.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for joining us on Supe's On. Again, outstanding costume, outstanding costume.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in class.
All right.
And you're going to take production 2 next year, correct?
That's right.
We look forward to having you.
Thank you.
When we return, we'll have the new band director, Seth Jones, on the set with us. Stay tuned.
There's a monster in my bathtub. There's one on the couch. There's a monster on my bed.
Keep innocent things from triggering an asthma attack.
Please make the monsters go away.
Learn how to stop their asthma attacks at noattacks.org.
Welcome back. You're watching Supe's On RCTV. At the beginning of the school year, the students that participate in band saw a new face directing them. Seth Jones was hired to continue the success of the band program. He now joins us. Mr. Jones, welcome to Supe's On.
Hi, welcome. Thanks.
And also joining us is Dan Hudson.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Dr. Gooden, what a great program. Years passed, and this year they just continued.
Yeah, they still continue a strong tradition here under Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, this is your first year. I believe you came from San Francisco.
I did.
Where were you teaching prior to Springford?
I was teaching in a high school in the San Francisco Bay Area, Saratoga High School, where I taught band there for a couple of years.
And what made you come back to Springford, back to the East Coast? Did you live here before, or were you?
Yeah, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I grew up in the Harrisburg area, and after college, I ended up in California. But it was exciting for me to come home. My family's in Pennsylvania. I feel like a Pennsylvanian, even though I spent many years in California, so it was nice to come home.
You can't take that out of you.
You can't. You really can't.
No, once you're you have it in you. You can go to
Yeah.
California, but you can't take it out of you.
You can't, no.
What's your experience like so far at Springford?
It's been really great. I have to say the colleagues that I work with here are awesome. The students are wonderful to work with. The administration has been extremely supportive. And there's a lot of apprehension I had coming in, but it's really been a wonderful experience working with everyone here, and they've all been really kind and really helpful.
Now, during your interview, students played for you. As you were working through your interview, what was going through your mind? Hearing them play for the first time, you're walking in cold, you're giving them, something to play. What went through your mind?
I was really impressed with how the students were very responsive during that time. We met very briefly during the process, but they seemed to take anything I said with a grain of salt, and a lot of the techniques that I used, I remember distinctly saying, "Do you guys do this?" And they all said, "Oh yeah, we do that all the time." And I was thinking like, "Oh, thank you," because it wasn't like a foreign concept to them. And I thought, well, at least me and the students are on the same wavelength with a lot of these things. And so that was very reassuring to hear and then to see in action when I worked with the students.
Now, expectations coming in after you, very high after knowing that, what you did in the interview?
Yes, very high. And just because of the history of the program, where it's been, the accomplishments it's had, I think it's nice that you can set a high standard, and it's generally accepted as a great thing here. It's not perceived as something we don't want to do or the students were not interested in. I think the students were very much interested in just maintaining the level they've set and moving forward with it.
Now, coming in, you took over a very successful program, which I guess brings a little stress with that.
Right.
They have won previously 5 out of 6 years in the Atlantic Coast competition. So did that bring any more added stress?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And now this year, you did win it again. Your first year, 6 out of 7 years. What was that like?
It was an exciting day. It was really fun to see everyone there. We had tons of parents there at the show to support us. We had people from the school district there. We had all of our staff members there. And it's one of those things where when you go to championships, you never really know how it's going to shake out until you're there and you're in it. And we were really thrilled with our performance. And at the end of the day, that's all that really mattered to us, was the students were really happy with our performance. The staff was really happy with the performance. So you kind of get to a point in the day where you think, well, it doesn't really matter what the outcome is, because we are just really thrilled with where we are. But when they announced the first place score, and everyone started just jumping with excitement, even though we actually have a tradition where we don't cheer until the award is presented to us. So you could just see the excitement contained in everyone just wanting to burst, but they waited, and it was really cool. That was a moment that I'll remember for a long time.
Dan, being a participant, what was it like for you to win again? Because you've been here a long time now.
Right.
What was it like for you to win again?
Well, I think for the senior class especially, it's really nice to have this one last victory, because coming into our freshman year, we had lost that year. We lost our freshman year. That was the only time in the past 7 years that we lost ACCs. So every time we have a victory, it's really nice, and I hope that the other classmen in the band can understand that, because they've all been coming into a winning program. So it is really nice to win.
What about years past? How much work you guys put in? I mean, a lot of people concentrate on athletics and talk about how much time they put in after school. You guys put in just as much, if not maybe a little bit of more time practicing. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's really, I think it's a special thing how hard everyone works. Everyone is committed. Everyone comes to band, they show up, they come to practice on time. We even have a saying at band, if you're on time, you're late, so you got to get there early to be ready to go.
Now I'm going to ask you a loaded question. Okay, you ready for it?
Yes.
Mr. Jones here for the first time. What do you think of Mr. Jones here for the first year?
Well,
Loaded question.
it's different. It's definitely different than before. He does a lot of the same stuff, especially during marching band. He kind of just came onto a moving train, jumped on the moving train. But I think as we move into concert band and jazz band, there will definitely start to see some changes. I think good changes. It's different, but I don't think it's different in a bad way. I think he'll help move the program forward.
And as a student and with the other students, the change, you guys handled it well? I mean, clearly you're talking behind the scenes. Did you guys handle it well? Or did you struggle a little bit?
I think mostly people handled it well. I think maybe some of the underclassmen who haven't matured yet, maybe when the emotions were flying high. For a little bit, emotions were high and tense, but it's calmed down and everyone seems to be getting into the groove, and it's
Excellent.
pretty normal. Yeah.
And Dr. Gooden, hiring Mr. Jones, what did you see in him to hire him for the band director?
Well, first of all, let me be very clear. I don't know anything about music or conducting music or anything else. I can listen to it very well, and
you do listen to it very well.
I do. I listen to a lot of music, and I've been known to dance a little bit, but we don't talk about that. You know, having said all that, when we were looking and going through the interview process, I was really looking for someone who had a presence and seemed to have a presence with the students, but also had the ability to, or my perception was he had the ability to work with the community, his band booster group, to be out in the forefront and represent the district in a way that we want it represented. So he had those soft skills that are so important to someone in his position. It's very public and very upfront, and he works with a lot of students, and you just need to be the general on the field, and we saw that.
Now, he just mentioned something, working with a lot of students. Mm-hmm. Where you came from, where you are now, what's the difference in student population?
There's a lot of differences between the two. Saratoga was a very small high school compared to Springford. It was about 1,300 students, but about 500 were in the music department. So 1 in every 3 kids we saw on a daily basis there. And it was a community that was very, very highly academically motivated. And Springford is as well, but I think in a healthier way. So that's been really nice to see. The students, I actually see less students here than I did in Saratoga, but I think that's an exciting thing because I think there's room to grow the program here. And I hope that I'm one of the people that really sees that possibility, because I think the band program, though it's been very successful, can be a bigger entity to our school and our community, and I'm hoping to bring that here.
You kind of just touched on my next question. Where do you hope to go with the band program? I know clearly win another championship, but where else do you see the band program going in the future?
I think there's a lot of opportunities in the concert ensembles. The marching band is the most visible part of our program, and we see that at the football games, and there's been a lot of football games this year, so congrats to Coach Brubaker. And we have a lot of great concert opportunities, and I would like to see our concert ensembles go out and perform, and there's some definitely high national level ability ensemble festivals that we could go to and perform, and I'd really like to see some development there, especially with the students, so that they get a concert experience and a marching experience, and it's much more of a global thing for them.
Do you have a specialty? Concert, band?
No, I do it all. Concert is my favorite to do because I think there's a lot of fun there that can be had. And with marching band, you work with a very large staff of individuals. So not saying that's not fun, but everyone brings something to the table, whereas concert, it's more just me doing a lot of technique and development, and I think that's kind of fun for me.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Dan, thanks for joining us. Good seeing you again. Mr. Jones, thank you. As always, congratulations on another championship.
Yeah.
Good luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Good luck in your future.
Thank you.
Where are you heading?
Well, out of school, I want to go to college for engineering, probably
Okay.
mechanical engineering. I'm not sure which college yet. I'm looking at a few, just Lehigh and Drexel to name a few of the colleges I'm looking at.
So big schools.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
When we come back, we will talk about the 8th grade center and the blue ribbon ceremony.
What gets you moving?
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
You fuel your body,
and your mind,
whether you like to throw around the football.
play frisbee in the park,
Or dance in your room.
Moving every day helps give you a healthy body and mind.
And that makes you part of a winning team. Hey, that was my line. Get up and play an hour a day, Doc.
check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
That's www.letsmove.gov.
Thank you for staying with us. Dr. Gooden, the 8th grade center, received the Blue Ribbon Award finally in November. I know we've been talking about it a lot, but it's still a coveted award that any school would love to receive.
It really is, Steve. It's you know, you talk about how does a school receive national recognition? How does a school district get on the national radar? Well, that's one way to receive a national blue ribbon, and especially at the secondary level. Majority of schools that are identified as blue ribbon schools are elementaries. So to have a secondary school identified as at the national level is quite an accomplishment, and very telling, not only of the 8th grade program, but also our programs K through K through 7, and because those programs feed into that 8th grade center, and that strong tradition of accomplishment and academic achievement just really carries on even over into 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're definitely on the national radar now.
Why is it so important to be on the national radar? I mean, you hear people talking about it. We're a public school. People can come in. They don't have to come in. It's not a private school. If you were a private school, national attention, maybe, okay, let's go. Why is it so important to be on the national stage?
Well, I'll tell you, from my perspective, there's a couple reasons. Number one, I believe that for whatever reason, the forces of competition are really being introduced into education, especially public education. And we need to position ourselves to be competitive, to be a district that stands out and that people are attracted to. And so I believe that we have the programs here to make us that kind of a district.
Now, the ceremony was held in November.
Yes.
Talk about that ceremony. We're videotaping. It's going to be run on RCTV. Students from past years came back and spoke. What a great ceremony.
It really was. And I think when you're sitting there, and I was looking out upon the current 8th grade group, they were sitting on the gym floor, a lot of them, and so well behaved and listening and very attentive and focused on what was happening. And that just is just indicative of Spring Forward and what we expect out of our students, and they rise to that level of expectation.
Well, I know during the ceremony, Mr. Siggins mentioned how students were coming up and asking him about the award. What did it mean? Right. How important is it? So they were really engaged with that, which really I think helps out with the test coming up early 13.
Yeah. Well, for good or bad, a PSSA is a benchmark, and it's a benchmark that that other schools are judged by as well. So there's a standard there that we've been able to attain and just get recognition for.
Now, you keep talking about recognition, and you talk about national attention. Now, in your opening convocation, you talked about the district of choice. Right. Clearly, that can only help. Right. But what do you mean by that, and how's that coming, and what's your process to get there?
Well, as I said, that I believe that as years go by, public education for many years has held a monopoly. Public schools have held a monopoly on education, and that's really changing. People can now choose where they want to send their children, and you can go to private schools, you can go to charter schools, you can go cyber charters. There's just a lot of options there, and I believe that there's going to be a time when we're looking at the money following the child, and so we have to position ourselves to be the educational provider of choice for parents. And we do that by gaining that recognition and having programs that are attractive to people, so that when choice does really become a reality, to the extent that I believe it will be, Spring Forward will be the school that people choose to send their children to, as opposed to other offerings or other opportunities that they would have.
Almost like a private school, but Absolutely. We're still public. But it'd be you're choosing a private, you're choosing a public school, right, to educate your child.
Right. I don't want anybody to be here in Spring Forward because they have to be. It would be nice, and my goal and my vision is that families are sending their children here because they want to send their children here, and they know it's a good program, and they want their children to be part of it. And so that's really the goal and the vision, and we're really going to focus on, to achieve that, we're going to focus on making sure that our educational offerings and our programs are relevant, that we want to really promote and focus on achievement. And then lastly, just let there be a priority on people, because that's really the kind of business that we're in. We're in a people business. And from our students and our employees and you know, the families that we serve. We're in a people business, so there needs to be a priority on people. But we also need to continue to maintain a very pinpointed focus on academic achievement and educational relevance.
And also keeping the staff up to date. You know, like a staff in service, we held one where it was peer-to-peer learning.
Right.
That's one way of, you know, instead of paying someone to come in, a professional to come in, they're learning from their peers, right. Which, you know, that in service was really beneficial. It was
a great in-service, and I have to give a lot of credit to the staff, Mr. Roach, the assistant superintendent, for putting that together and really stepping up and taking that challenge on. But we believe that not only do we have a program that parents want to be a part of, but the reason that is because we have people here who work here that make this district and this programs excellent. And so what we want to do is have an opportunity for them to share with their peers and colleagues their expertise in various areas. So we are actually able to offer about 60 different programs that day for that in-service.
And I'll tell you what, getting feedback, very positive.
Been extremely positive.
Very positive. And I think it's one way to learn. You're going to learn from your peer. You're going to take what they teach you and try it in your classroom. Right. And you know, I did a little video, it's on SchoolTube. Steve Furco from Limerick said that you can always go back and ask them a question if you're not sure about, you know, what's happening. It's not working for me. What did you do? What am I doing wrong? Sure. Where if the professional comes in, you can't do that.
Yeah, they're pretty much a one shot in the arm and they're gone. But having professional development set up the way that we did it just recently, you're right. We've got the expertise in-house and we're just showcasing it and allowing our employees the opportunity to share that and benefit from that.
Looking forward to doing it again?
Absolutely. One of the things we want to, you know, we just have to prevent silos from occurring. You know, we've got so many good people doing good things in their classroom. We want to get that out and get people seeing that. That's one of the reasons why with our administrative class program, Administrators with Class, that we have the teachers going out doing peer observations. Because we know and recognize that these people, our teachers are doing great things in the classroom. And so we want you know, their peers to be able to see that and share that.
So instead of going to college, maybe getting a little, they're going just to classroom, a work day. Right. Administrator steps into class, they go and they get education from just sitting in another classroom and observing.
That's right.
That's outstanding, that's outstanding. The final topic for today, sponsorship. I believe you're rolling out a new sponsorship program for the district. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, we recognize that the district has a lot of advertising opportunities for area businesses. And so I worked with a team, my administrative team, and we looked at what opportunities there exist within the district for companies, local companies, to advertise. For example, on Supe's on the various TV shows, the banners at our sporting events. Those are all opportunities for businesses to advertise. And so, you know, for example, you might have somebody come in as a $5,000 a semester sponsor for the district, which means that, you know, their logo, they would be identified on our website as a sponsor. They would be their program would be advertised at sporting events. You know, once again, you know, at the end of TV shows, our Ram Country TV shows. You know, it's just opportunities for area businesses to get their name out there and their logo out there, while it also benefits the district by bringing in additional revenue sources.
Which would help out with taxes.
Absolutely.
In the long run.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, when they advertise with a school district, will visit that establishment because people want to stay local. They want to stay home, so to speak.
Right.
And that's one way to get people out and into their business.
Right. For example, I mean, if we have a sponsor at a certain level, and that level includes having their logo on our website, you know, people who visit our website can actually click on that and go straight to that business's website. Right. They'd be directed there. How that all works, I don't know, but there's people who.
It's called a link.
Yeah.
Easy
to
do.
Easy
to do. Very
I've been
easy
told
to
it
do.
works.
Oh, you click it all the time, right?
Yeah.
Or you do computers, right? right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, oh, you just click. That's easy.
Actually, I have 2 secretaries, and they come in and show me what to do on a regular basis.
Well, at least someone helps you out. That's
Right,
outstanding.
right.
All right. Well, I think it's a great program, and it does help the district bring in some funding, and then offsets the taxpayers as well.
Absolutely. We're just trying to be creative in generating revenue streams.
Okay.
So.
What a great show. What a great show. We had Mr. Jones.
Yeah, that was great. He's got a great program going.
He does. Dan Hudson, what a senior. He's heading to college. And then you have Paul Johnson, who's a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, I still can't get over the ingenuity and the time he put into you know, his costume for Spirit Week.
Best
That's amazing.
one ever.
Yep.
And I don't know, it's going to take years for someone to top that, I'm sure.
I've not seen anything like it. That was impressive.
Well, we'll see you next month.
All right.
Thank you very much. That's it for another edition of Soup's On. For a complete schedule of Soup's On and all the shows on RCTV, log on to springford.net and click the RCTV tab. Follow us on Twitter at RamCountryTV. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Soup's On.